Hey y'all, hope you're doing good today. So I have a couple of minutes to share some things with you all, and so I wanted to try this as opposed to just setting aside hours at a time, which I don't have right now. And please don't mind the redness here. I just got through scratching and my skin's very responsive, as you can see. About 4 years ago, I had a really bad concussion. And I say concussion because there was a delay between hitting my head and some really bad symptoms that I had. So I'm assuming that my symptoms were from hitting my head. But the moral of the story here is I'm going to explain everything I went through, okay, and how scary it was, because what happened afterwards completely changed me. So I woke up about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. This was roughly 2 days after I had hit my head, okay? And this apparently is normal. If you hit your head, there can be a significant delay before you experience the symptoms, the repercussions, right? So I woke up about 3 or 4 in the morning, and my vision was like static on an old television, okay? It was moving, except instead of it being black and white, mine was color. And all these different colors just shifting and moving back and forth, just exactly like the static on an old television after all the shows went off at the end of the night. Years and years and years ago. I'm clearly dating myself. So I'm in my mid-40s, but so anyway, it scared me very, very badly. And I was also extremely nauseous. So I rolled out of bed, crawled to the bathroom, and I was very, very sick. And it was not your typical type of being sick. There was blood involved when I was getting sick and all this. So I knew it was very, very serious, okay? At that moment, I didn't know for sure what was going on, and I didn't know if it was going to take me out, if this was going to turn out to be the last, few moments of my life, or if I was going to recover or whatnot, okay? But it scared me very badly. And my path to healing took quite a while. It took several months. I couldn't walk balanced well at all. I basically had to stay still. I had to stay laying down, and I mostly had to keep my eyes closed. I could not, my eyes literally physically would not focus on my phone screen to look at my phone. So in terms of like a digital detox, this made it happen for me through no effort on my own. I literally couldn't look at it. And it was also strange that I couldn't focus on conversation. If someone called to check on me, or if, my family came into the room, I couldn't even, it's like I could not hang with them in my mind for, longer than a minute or two. So it was just, and I clearly couldn't drive because my vision was still all over the place. So once I realized I thought I was going to live, it was just a long road and several months of healing, and just all I could do was just lay there and think about things and pray. And I spent a lot of time praying, and what came out of this was I had to process a lot of things. There were other things going on in my personal life that were very hard to accept and to process and all this, okay, to deal with. So I was dealing with that kind of stuff too, okay? But the majority of my time I spent either sleeping or praying. And it was also a great physical detox too, because I had no interest in eating. I wasn't drinking coffee. I was pretty much just drinking water and eating very small, simple meals. But what I want to focus on is my time spent with God. I would just stay focused there and thank Him that I was still alive, and thank Him as I continue to progress and heal. And it really made me realize how we can not even intentionally, just automatically start to take things for granted. Simple things that are in fact extremely important, like walking and driving and things like that. So when I started feeling better, I moved from just laying there with my eyes closed to being able to look online a little bit and journal a little bit. And I was really focused on a gratitude journal just between me and the Lord. And as I continued to get better, I started trying to drive short distances, and I reached out to somebody who specialized in helping people recover. The lady I worked with helped me understand how concussions impact you and what really happens, and the kind of things that she had seen in other people and how they were able to overcome all the challenges from a concussion and all this. And so I did that too, but the biggest impact on me was it suddenly became very, very simple to focus on self-care. And that's when I started, I mentioned in my last video, that's when I started going walking every day and having one meal a day and really taking care of myself. And I forgot to mention in my last video too, when I had told you all I dropped those 15 pounds fairly quickly, I was also in the evenings, like late evenings, nighttime really, I was running as well, typically on a treadmill. I'd run anywhere from a mile, mile and a half, up to 2 miles every night, and I was very dedicated. And so but my schedule allowed for that at that time as well. And then since then, a lot has transpired in my life. Things have changed very, very much, and I have gotten out of those healthy habits, and I'm trying to find a way to get back into it. But I just, the message here for you all is, there's a practice you can do where, and I read a book many years ago that talked about this, where you can, without having to go through these life-shattering experiences and, serious injuries and things like that, you can consciously take the time to envision things like that, or even, the end of life, and just a moment to be mindful of how temporary everything is. And the point in the book that was expressed, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but the point was that it should motivate us to, I don't know if you want to say grab life by the horns, to seize the day, to not take anything for granted, And I think that for me, sometimes when I fall into a slump of feeling sorry for myself, or grieving again over things I've already grieved over, and that is a process, and I'm not saying we should put that off or anything. Grieving is important, but sometimes we can find ourselves stuck and lacking motivation, and even shaming ourselves for not being grateful for the things we have in our life. We can wind up just piling on other things to deal with, like shaming ourselves. So but in terms of just kind of a little boost that we can give ourselves to get out of the slump, sometimes we can come up with our own ways to remind ourselves that sometimes gratitude and focusing on the right things is really all we need to do. And what I went through in that concussion and everything, that just kind of did it for me. But it would be amazing if we could find a way to do that for ourselves on the regular, without having to suffer an injury and, big negative, impactful experiences in our life like that, right? So if you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Feel free to share ways that we can just sort of jumpstart, a shift, and just suddenly you know, switch over from focusing on, you know, all the negative. If it's not serving you, if you're not, you know, getting anything else out of it, and you're still mulling it over and you're stuck, and it's causing you to not be motivated, and even to lose motivation and to lose hope and to stop dreaming, and to stop having, you know, aspirations and things for your life, then that's your sign. I feel like that, you know, something needs to happen. And I think we have to get creative sometimes, you know, to figure out how we can in fact motivate ourselves. But the wheels are turning for me today, and I just wanted to check in, say hello, and say I hope you're doing good, and I hope the wheels are turning for you as well. And thanks so much for listening. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you again very soon.